Hello, Western Civilization 105 class. Welcome to week 2. Um, if you're watching this right away and you don't see that I've graded all your work, hang in there. I'm going to get it pretty much everything graded by this evening or tomorrow, the latest. That has to do with last week, okay, week 1. I might even be able to start getting some graded in week 2 if you've already been, you know, ahead of schedule. So first of all, I want to commend all of you. If you're here, if you're watching this video, it means that you are doing your best in this class. For those of you who have been behind for whatever reason, you communicated with me. Communication is the key to everything. Resolving all sorts of problems, always communicate. Some of you received zeros. If you received a 0, I explained why and told you what to do to fix it. If you didn't see it, it's because you're using your phone, which I told you not to do because it doesn't show you my comments. And it's like, especially for the first few weeks of class, there's no way I'm going to give you a 0 without telling you why and give you the ability to fix it and resend it. Now, after we're deep in this class, and if you're still making the same mistakes, if you're not putting citations in the essay the way I want, not putting dates for the paper, and all, doing things that I've already kind of went over several times before, you're getting the 0 without much explanation because, you know. But right now, I'm giving you explanation and a chance to fix it, okay? So, take advantage of that. Make sure you communicate with me as well. Contact me, And if you have a question, if you're confused about something, if you don't think something's fair, please, please, please contact me. In regards to late work, so some of you jumped on last minute. Despite the fact that I sent a message, a mass email to everybody to open, despite the fact I've been posting, you didn't notice the class started until late Sunday. Okay, I accepted your late work. Some of you try to do the essays, but you didn't watch the announcements. You haven't been keeping up where I've explained what you need to do. But I'm gonna work with anybody who wants to catch up and figure out what to do right now. If you're jumping in there, if you're getting to work. Now, late work. The policy, if you look on my syllabus, is that you have 8 hours to turn in late work without having, you have kind of a leeway. So let's say the work's due by midnight on Sunday. If you send me your essay like at 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning, 8 hours after the deadline, you don't need to explain yourself. You can just turn it in. I'll grade it for you as if it was on time. But after 8 hours, you need to explain yourself to me. You need to write to me and ask if you can turn in the late work and kind of give me an explanation as to why it's late. Now, you don't have to overshare. Let me repeat, you don't have to overshare. You don't even have to make up an elaborate story. It goes something like this. Mr. Pollock, I had a lot of things going on this weekend and I got behind. Can I please turn in this essay late for full points? And I'm going to say yes. Now, if this is a repeat over and over, we might have a different conversation. One of the reasons why this is what I'm having you do this for, though, is I want you to have to take some responsibility. I want you to kind of have to say, okay, if I'm going to let you turn in the work late for full points, you still have to step up, be a grown-up, come to me, try to explain yourself, and work through that way. And that prevents it from being a habit, right? Because you don't want to be that person every weekend, every week, right? Now, if starting now, okay, if you turn in late work to me without getting permission, in other words, it's a day late in particular, 2 days late, you're just going to drop me off some late work, I'm just going to give it an automatic 0. We're not having a conversation about this. You've permanently messed that up. You don't get to just dump papers on me, essays or notes or anything without communicating. Again, this is mainly to help keep your habits forming, to make sure this doesn't become the thing. I have students sometimes that have tried to dump almost the entire semester and at the end of the semester, even when I told them not to, and they just keep sending, hoping that'll work. Don't do it that way, okay? And so this also leads me to also go over just the quality of your work. You know, it's better, don't cheat, don't use AI in the way that you're not supposed to. If you need extra time, contact me. Okay. So I think I said enough about that. I think a lot of you are getting the point about my examples of citations, and that you're doing great. And so, um, right now, let me just talk very briefly about the content that we're covering, and we'll move on. So first of all, actually, I want to go back to what we started with, absolutism, and we talked about Ivan the Terrible, or Ivan Grozny, the Formidable. Keep in keep in mind, right, that Western civilization is built on monarchs and powerful leaders in these kind of aristocratic systems. And then we're moving forward into all these events that lead to revolutions, right? And the world of monarchies are not going to be a given anymore. And as we see now, most monarchies, they're not absolute. They're more like figureheads, like mascots in many ways. And so this is going to show us kind of like how we got there. Um, I'm this week's the videos that we're seeing also kind of help explain some of the negative aspects of Western civilization that's hard to bounce back from. Partly, what I want to always remind everybody is, um, you know, the circumstances in which a history is taught will hit different for some people, and it should be well. Let me give you a quick example. We're going to learn more later on. During World War II, the Bengalis were under British occupation in India, and the British took their grain to supply British troops and created a mass famine that killed thousands upon thousands of people. So, for people in Bengal, in that part of India, during World War II, Hitler was not their problem. It was the British. And maybe if the Germans won, maybe those people would have lived. Do you see? This is how history works. Now, I'm not making the argument right now that we should be so relativistic in our approach to things, but I although I am pointing out this is a tricky part, is when you really study history and you look at the globe and you look at events and how they affect one group over the other, you can't help but notice like why we can celebrate on one part of a civilization can celebrate something, and for others it doesn't hit that way, right? Okay, so we're going through that. Also, we're learning about Haiti and the French Revolution and the Haitian Revolution. Haitian Revolution I cover more in my World Civ class, but it also talk about it in my U.S. history because it affects U.S. history as well. And this is huge. And the island of Haiti has been basically punished by the United States and Europe, in my opinion, ever since they won. Uh, and I think to this day we see the treatment of Haiti and what's happened to Haitians. I would make an argument that um, yeah, that they had the first world successful slave revolution, a revolution by slaves to actually be successful. And the French and the United States have never saw that as a positive thing for the most part. They've been invaded so often by the U.S. Marines; it's ridiculous. Why this island? And it's a rabbit hole that I encourage as many people, to go down if you want to. And you might already be saying, "What's your interpretation of this, Mr. Paul?" Well, get into you go ahead and dive into that history, and then we can have a discussion about it if you want. But you're getting exposed to it. Haitian Revolution, and then the French Revolution. And the last thing I'm going to say, French Revolution is huge. Vastly important. I had an entire class dedicated just to the French Revolution when I was at UC Santa Cruz by a professor who was an expert on France. And um, there's enough there to go into a deep dive just on that alone. And and also to think about that in contrast to the way that the American War for Independence, the American Revolution, how different that was in light of the French Revolution. And the French Revolution is also the kind of demarcation of where we get the idea of left and right wing. Um, Edmund Burke, the conservative, saw the French Revolution as something that is horror, the problem of revolutions, if you will. So there's all sorts of things that now happen in public discourse that are not even you're always aware of that really go back to this particular important revolution. And so I could go on and on, but you're already learning about it, so I don't need to say much more. Um, and so I'll leave it at that. And please, again, don't forget to ask me any questions if you want to elaborate on something or debate about anything. I'm always excited when students are excited about the information and or have a strong enough opinion that they would even want to debate me, about the way it's presented. So I always think that that's awesome. So just thought I'd throw it out there. In any case, have a great rest of your week, and we'll be in touch.